Have you ever found yourself in a quiet room only to notice a constant high-pitched hum or ringing in your ears that just won't go away? If so, you're not alone, and you're certainly not imagining things. Many people over 65 experience persistent ear ringing, often called tinnitus. While it's tempting to brush it off as an inconvenient part of aging, this gentle hum can sometimes signal more than just a quirk of your hearing. It can be linked to hidden circulatory issues that may affect your overall health and quality of life. In my years working in preventive care, I've seen how easily this early warning sign can be overlooked. The result? Seniors sometimes miss the chance to address potential circulatory problems before they grow into larger concerns. Even if the sound is soft, the emotional impact can be significant. For some, it disrupts sleep, making those cherished afternoon naps less restful. For others, it steals focus during conversations with friends or grandchildren, creating moments of frustration and isolation. But why should you pay attention to this ringing in your ears? First, constant ear ringing can indicate that your blood vessels are under strain, perhaps from something as common as slightly elevated blood pressure or reduced blood flow to the inner ear. Second, managing tinnitus and circulation issues early can help you protect your independence, maintain your energy levels, and preserve the freedom you've worked hard to enjoy. By taking a proactive stance, you're not just hoping you'll feel better. You're actively safeguarding your health in a way that supports all your daily activities, from strolling around the neighborhood to keeping up with family gatherings. Today, we'll explore 5 key areas that can help you better understand the connection between tinnitus and circulation. You'll see how small shifts in your daily routine, like gentle, targeted movements or mindful eating, can improve blood flow and possibly ease that persistent ringing sound. We'll tackle some common misconceptions, such as the idea that ringing in the ears is a normal part of aging and can't be helped. We'll also look at how stress and worry might worsen the problem and how a more holistic approach can bring security and peace of mind. Think of this as a practical, realistic plan you can adapt to your own life, rather than a rigid set of rules. My promise to you is straightforward. By the end of our conversation, you'll have a clearer understanding of the hidden link between tinnitus and your circulatory system. More importantly, you'll be equipped with actionable tips that can protect your health, not by offering a miracle cure, but by providing strategies that seniors like you are already using to feel more confident, sleep more soundly, and enjoy a greater sense of overall well-being. Whether you've just started noticing that subtle ring or you've been living with it for years, there's real hope in exploring these preventative steps. Before we dive into the details, take a moment to reflect on how persistent ear ringing has affected your everyday life. Perhaps you felt unsettled by it, or maybe you've managed to ignore it so far. Whichever the case, I encourage you to keep an open mind as we move forward. You might find that a small shift in how you manage your blood pressure, or even the way you eat, could make a real difference in the sound you hear, and in your overall peace of mind. Now let's begin exploring how you can safeguard your circulatory health and possibly reduce that persistent ringing. It's easy to assume that ear ringing is just the way things are. Let's see why that's not necessarily true, and what you can do right now to protect yourself. Many people think of tinnitus as solely an ear-related problem, but in reality, it's often a snapshot of what's happening in your entire circulatory system. The first area we'll explore is the deep relationship between hearing function and blood flow. A common misconception is that the inner ear operates independently of the rest of the body, but inside your cochlea, an intricate system of canals and tiny hair cells, blood vessels carry nutrients and oxygen to the cells responsible for translating sounds into signals your brain interprets. When blood flow is compromised, these cells can suffer, potentially leading to that constant buzz. George, who was 72, was convinced his ear ringing was simply his nerves. He tried ignoring it for years, but after one particularly restless night, he decided to talk to a healthcare professional. Much to his surprise, the practitioner suggested checking his circulation as well as his ear health. Tests revealed that George had mild arterial narrowing in the vessels around his inner ear. Improving his overall circulation became the key to helping reduce his constant buzzing sound. If you suspect your own circulation might be contributing to your tinnitus, consider some actionable steps. First, speak with a healthcare provider about routine blood pressure checks. Even if you've been told you have normal blood pressure, slight fluctuations can still impact ear health. Second, moderate activities like daily walks or gentle stretching can help promote healthy blood flow. The focus here is on consistency. Simple, regular exercise is often more beneficial than intense, infrequent workouts that leave you exhausted or in pain. If mobility is a concern, remember that chair-based exercises can be just as effective when done with proper form and regularity. Following these steps can yield both physical and emotional benefits. On the physical side, better blood flow helps keep the cells in your inner ear functioning optimally, potentially easing the intensity or frequency of the ringing. Emotionally, knowing you've taken proactive steps to improve your circulation can offer a sense of protection and control. Many of us worry about losing our independence. Consistently supporting healthier blood flow contributes to a feeling of security about your long-term well-being. After all, when your circulatory system is functioning well, it nourishes not only your ears but your brain, muscles, and other vital organs. Now that we've seen how blood flow and hearing are intertwined, it's important to consider another widespread misconception: that ongoing stress is purely emotional and has no real bearing on physical symptoms like ear ringing. Let's explore that next. Stress is something we've all felt, but many of us tend to see it as an inevitable part of life rather than a factor we can manage. Perhaps you've been told to calm down or stop worrying so much, but felt unsure how to do it. In truth, chronic stress acts like a persistent alarm bell in your body, triggering an increase in stress hormones that can narrow blood vessels and elevate blood pressure. These changes don't just affect your heart, they can also affect the delicate structures in your ears. Consider Lorraine, who is 69 and used to care for her husband full-time. Between managing household bills, cooking, and looking after her spouse's medical needs, she rarely took a moment to breathe. Over time, the stress manifested in tight shoulders, tension headaches, and persistent tinnitus. She discovered through a counseling program at her local senior center that her stress responses were restricting circulation, especially when she felt overwhelmed or anxious. By integrating simple relaxation techniques, such as slow, mindful breathing and short meditation breaks, she noticed that her ear ringing became more manageable. If you find yourself frequently overwhelmed, think about adding stress reduction strategies into your daily routine. This might include a gentle breathing exercise when you wake up or before going to bed. Imagine taking a slow inhale for 5 counts, then exhaling for 5 counts, focusing your attention on the breath. Alternatively, if you enjoy nature, a 10-minute walk in a park can have a calming effect on your mind and body, reducing that rush of stress hormones. Even a few minutes of deliberate, quiet reflection can help relax your blood vessels and potentially lessen the severity of tinnitus. On a practical level, lowered stress means reduced tension on your circulatory system. When your blood vessels aren't constantly constricted, your inner ear receives a steadier, more balanced blood supply. Emotionally, managing stress helps you feel more in control. Anxiety and worry often magnify our perception of physical discomfort. By contrast, when we're calmer, we can address health concerns from a place of confidence and clarity. You might still hear some ringing, but it becomes less intrusive when you're not adding mental stress to the mix. If you've already discovered any helpful ways to ease stress, feel free to share them with family or friends. You may inspire someone who's going through a similar challenge. Before moving on to the next topic, take a moment to consider: when was the last time you really took a break for your own well-being? Keep that question in mind, as the following point ties closely to how we fuel our bodies and how it can protect us from potential circulatory issues that relate to tinnitus. We often hear about eating right, but nutrition advice can be confusing, especially when every decade seems to bring a new set of diet rules. A big misconception many seniors hold is that diet changes won't make much difference once you've reached a certain age. But what you eat and what you moderate can directly influence your circulatory system, which in turn may affect the intensity of your ear ringing. The inner ear is a nutrient-hungry organ, and proper circulation brings essential vitamins, minerals, and oxygen to keep it functioning well. Meet Harold, 75, who dismissed the idea that his sugary soda habit could have anything to do with his tinnitus. He figured he'd spent decades enjoying these beverages, so why stop now? But his doctor noted that frequent sugar spikes might affect his blood pressure stability, potentially aggravating the ringing. When Harold decided to cut down on soda, replacing it with water or herbal tea, he noticed not only a slight decrease in the ringing, but also a boost in his overall energy. If you're wondering what to do about your diet, you might start by focusing on foods rich in antioxidants and healthy fats. Think about adding more colorful fruits and vegetables, spinach, bell peppers, berries, or incorporating fish rich in omega-3 fats like salmon. These nutrients help maintain flexible, healthy blood vessels. At the same time, you could moderate your intake of very salty or highly processed foods, as excessive sodium can contribute to higher blood pressure. If you take medications, be mindful of possible food-medication interactions. For example, if you're on a blood thinner, speak with a healthcare provider about how leafy greens might affect your dosages. Following a balanced nutritional plan offers more than just a physical advantage. Emotionally, choosing nourishing foods can instill a sense of self-care and control, reminding you that you have the ability to take daily steps for better health. As you shift toward more senior-friendly meals, like a hearty vegetable soup or a balanced breakfast with whole grains and fresh fruit, you're not just possibly improving blood flow to your ears, you're also helping your heart, your brain, and your entire body function more optimally. Up next, we'll explore an area that many people overlook: how certain medications can play a silent role in both circulatory health and the onset or worsening of tinnitus. But before we do that, ask yourself, have you noticed any dietary habits that leave you feeling better or worse, particularly regarding your energy or the intensity of that ringing? Paying attention to these patterns can guide you towards small but meaningful changes. Many seniors juggle multiple medications to manage conditions like high blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes. Because tinnitus often results from a delicate balance in the body, certain medications might influence how blood flows to the ears, or even directly affect the auditory nerves themselves. A common misconception is that the doctor knows best and you have no agency in medication decisions. In reality, your healthcare provider benefits from your input, especially if you're experiencing issues like ear ringing. Fran, who just turned 80, was prescribed a combination of medications to help control her blood pressure and arthritis. Over time, she noticed a buzzing in her ears, but dismissed it as an annoying part of aging. At a routine checkup, she mentioned the sound almost in passing, which prompted her nurse practitioner to review Fran's medication list. It turned out that one drug she was taking sometimes caused mild ototoxic effects, meaning it could affect her hearing. With a careful adjustment to her dosage and a plan for regular hearing checks, Fran's tinnitus lessened, and she felt more at ease. If you suspect your medication might be contributing to or worsening your ear ringing, the first step is clear. Talk openly with a healthcare provider. You could ask whether there's a possibility of trying a different medication, adjusting the dosage, or scheduling a medication review specifically to ensure everything works harmoniously. This isn't about ignoring your medical advice, quite the opposite. It's about advocating for your comfort and ensuring that each medication you take is truly serving you well. Keep in mind that you shouldn't stop any medication without medical guidance. The best approach is a collaborative one. Beyond dosage and type of medication, follow a few basic strategies for safe and effective medication use. Keep an up-to-date list of everything you're taking, store medicines properly, and schedule regular reviews. The benefit isn't just about potentially easing tinnitus. Clear communication with your healthcare providers helps you feel safer and more confident in your treatment plan. It reduces the risk of complications from polypharmacy when multiple medications interact in unintended ways, and can help you catch and address side effects early on. Having covered medications, we're now ready to look at one final yet crucial aspect: the role of movement, particularly how even gentle physical activity can strengthen circulation and potentially keep that ringing in your ears at a more manageable level. Some folks worry that physical activity will strain their bodies or cause new aches and pains. While overexertion can indeed be counterproductive, moderate exercise adapted to your abilities usually improves overall health, including blood vessel flexibility and blood flow. A prevailing myth is that if you have ear ringing or circulatory concerns, you should take it easy and avoid anything that elevates your heart rate. On the contrary, carefully chosen, light to moderate exercises can help fortify your circulatory system so it can better nourish the sensitive areas of your inner ear. Consider Roberta, who's 67. She noticed her tinnitus got louder when she sat for extended periods. Curious, she started taking brief, slow-paced walks around her neighborhood in the morning. She aimed for 15 minutes at first, gradually increasing the duration as she felt comfortable. Over a few weeks, she observed that the ringing became less distracting, especially after she finished her walk. Roberta's doctor explained that improved blood flow might be reducing the pressure around her auditory nerves, helping her cope with the tinnitus. If you'd like to explore gentle movement yourself, start with something you enjoy and can commit to regularly. This might be a seated yoga class at a local community center, water aerobics at a nearby pool, or simply walking to the mailbox a couple of times a day. If you have limited mobility, even light chair stretches or arm raises with small weights can get your blood moving without straining your joints. Just make sure to check in with a healthcare provider before beginning any new exercise routine, especially if you have underlying conditions or concerns about balance. Physically, such activity can improve heart health, bone density, and yes, even help regulate that relentless ringing. Emotionally, moving your body can lift your mood, reduce stress, and foster a sense of accomplishment. Each small victory, like an extra minute of walking or an additional repetition of a favorite exercise, reminds you that you're far from powerless against circulatory issues. You have the potential to keep your body and mind engaged, ultimately protecting the sense of security and independence you deserve. Think back to our previous points, from understanding the link between blood flow and hearing, to managing stress, to choosing a supportive diet, reviewing your medications, and staying active. Each of these aspects works together to offer a holistic approach to ear ringing that addresses the deeper issue of circulatory health. In the end, it's about giving your body the best possible conditions to thrive in your golden years. Now that we've journeyed through these 5 areas, let's bring all of this together so you can feel equipped and even excited to adopt some or all of these steps at your own pace. Tinnitus can feel like a small nuisance compared to other health concerns, but as we've seen, that subtle or sometimes not so subtle ringing often points to deeper circulatory issues worth addressing. By tuning into this early warning sign and taking action, you open the door to a range of benefits that go far beyond your ears. From regulating blood pressure to reducing stress, from enjoying healthier meals to ensuring that your medications complement one another, each choice fortifies your body's natural resilience and helps you maintain that sense of security we all desire. The key here is a balance of awareness and urgency. You don't want to frighten yourself into sudden drastic changes, especially when large shifts can be overwhelming. Instead, let the facts motivate you to begin, one step at a time. If you've been waiting for a sign to address your ear ringing, consider this your gentle nudge. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're actively supporting your entire circulatory system, taking steps that can result in better sleep, clearer thinking, and more comfortable conversations with loved ones. Each day you put off exploring these small changes is another day that hidden circulatory issues might continue unnoticed. But each day you move forward with even one new habit brings you closer to feeling like your best self. Perhaps you'll start by scheduling a conversation with a healthcare professional about your blood pressure or medication regimen. Maybe you'll commit to a brief walk each morning, adding a minute or two as you build endurance. Or you might decide to replace a sugary snack with a nutrient-rich fruit bowl. If you're more comfortable tackling stress first, you could try a simple breathing exercise this evening. However you begin, think of these steps as building blocks toward greater independence, confidence, and well-being. If you feel ready for a deeper commitment, consider creating a more structured plan. You might keep a simple journal to track what you eat, your blood pressure readings, and moments when the ringing is most noticeable. You could also partner with a friend or loved one for accountability, someone who can join you for those walks or share a healthy recipe. If you're unsure where to start, reach out to local community resources such as senior centers or fitness programs tailored to older adults. Making connections and seeking support can ease the journey and remind you that you're never alone in striving for better health. No matter your comfort level, the most important takeaway is that you do have options. Tinnitus doesn't have to dictate your days. Rather than viewing it as a persistent foe, see it as a messenger signaling you to prioritize circulation and overall well-being. Let the ringing be your reminder that you are your own best advocate. Trust your instincts, be proactive, and remember that small shifts can indeed lead to significant outcomes. Your journey toward less intrusive ear ringing and improved circulatory health can begin right now. You can embrace a new daily habit, consult your healthcare provider, or even just take a brief moment to breathe and relax. The path is yours to walk, but it's a path filled with opportunities for increased vitality and comfort. So why not start today? You have the wisdom and experience to make choices that serve you well. Here's to reclaiming the sense of security that comes from knowing you're caring for your body, one step, one meal, one breath at a time.